What's up everybody and welcome back to the channel. We're busy with Act 3 in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 Zombies. This one is a tier 2 mission. It's called Paint the Target. Let's go. This one happens to be a 3-parter, all focused on the kill streak precision airstrike. So you have 3 objectives here. Firstly, you have to kill 20 mercenaries with precision airstrikes. Secondly, you have to hit a mercenary convoy with an airstrike. And last but not least, you also have to precision airstrike a mercenary camp. Now, lucky for us, it is super easy to get your hand on as many precision airstrikes as you need, since you can simply go to any buy box in the game, even the low threat environment buy box, and you will find precision airstrikes for sale for 5k essence, which is relatively easy to make. That's basically like 2 contracts and selling a few things, and that gets you an airstrike in hand. And when we look at the objectives that we have to accomplish, it's better for us to first start with the convoy and with the camp, because that's already gonna get us a few mercenary kills by default, since there are mercenaries around those. And then we basically see what we're left with to complete the first step, which is killing 20 mercenaries with these airstrikes. So in the case of the convoy itself, there's not just one of these. First of all, by the way, these move around the map at different intervals as the map counts down from 45 to 0. And so you can oftentimes go on the highway, go by the rail tracks, and essentially just find your own vehicle and drive around and look for these convoys as they patrol. Now, I've always had really good luck with finding these in the medium threat, the yellow/orange area, since the low threat environment has more players in it, and players will usually hit these convoys for the mercenary stronghold keys inside them. Nonetheless, after you search around a little bit, and as you look at the radar, a telltale sign is usually a grouping or clumping of the mercenary vehicles like this. If you see 2 of these cars close to one another, that is a telltale sign that you're dealing with a convoy. These convoys are usually 2 to 3 vehicles, but 2 at the very least will be indicative of this. So as you see the convoy, simply move up close to it, make sure there are some mercenaries around it. I've tested this, and I actually think it's quite possible for you to get credit for this, even if they aren't any mercenaries. As long as you hit the vehicles and the vehicles haven't been destroyed already, you will still get credit for the second part. But basically just strafe this convoy with a precision airstrike, and that's going to be the second part of this 3-parter done. Next, we'll be hitting a mercenary camp, and of course there's 2 kinds of mercenary, let's call them encampments, in the game. You have mercenary camps, which is the outdoorish one. It looks like a little tent icon, and you will usually have 5 to 8 mercenaries in the area around it. Sometimes the bigger camps have a little bit more, maybe 10, and this will be a mixture of normal dudes, snipers, everything like that, and they're out in the open, so they are very airstrikeable, if that is a word. Then we also have mercenary strongholds, which is usually an area which is like inside a building or something, and then you have mercenaries inside there. So obviously, first of all, this is not the one we want, because that's not going to give us credit for the third step. And also, you're going to have a really hard time airstriking these dudes because they're inside a fucking building. So mercenary camps it is. Now, once you airstrike your first mercenary camp, you're going to get credit for your third step. Now, at this point in time, have a look and see how many mercenaries you've actually accumulated. I think in the footage that you're seeing in the background, once I did the convoy and once I did my first mercenary camp, I think I was 6 out of 20. Obviously, I needed 14 more. Basically, from here on, you have 2 options. There's a lot of, like, let's say, favor towards going to this legacy fortress area and essentially airstriking this fortress area if it has not already been done by a group of people or whomever else was on the map. Since this area has a huge amount of mercenaries that are clumped up together in this little square area, if you essentially line the airstrike up in such a way that it strafes one of the 2 corners, the upper corners, or even the middle area, you're bound to hit a few mercenaries. The only issue with this plan is, first of all, this is a tier 2 area, so you could have a situation with getting swarmed by zombies and things like that if you are attempting this without, you know, a pack-a-punch gun or something like that. And then secondly, you have the attack helo, which is hyper aggressive, and unless you have a way of dealing with that, you're gonna have that thing breathing down your fucking back the entire time while you're trying to airstrike this fortress. So I said there were 2 options. That was option number 1. Option number 2 is just to continue on hitting mercenary camps. If you're lucky, you can hit 3 to 6 mercenaries per strafe, which means that you're looking at another 2 to 3 airstrikes to basically get your 20 out of 20 mercenary kills. Sometimes you can even sort of like just scout out the mercenary camp. As you can see in the footage in the background here, I was super lucky. This one by the service station, all the mercs were kind of like fucking stuck on each other like a clump, and that's obviously going to be prime real estate for you to airstrike, because that's just going to get you all of the kills that you need. But nonetheless, once you have 20 out of 20 mercenaries down, you've hit the convoy and you've hit a mercenary camp, which in any case you would have done to get your 20 out of 20 mercenaries. That is this mission done and dusted. The video is also done and dusted, so thank you so much. I appreciate you. Let me know how you are faring in Act 3. We are super close to Season 1's launch now, so I'm hyper excited. I think there's a bunch of cool things coming for zombies this season and for future seasons, so I'm super excited for this mode. But as always, it's just super important to me that you have a fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Until next video, fucking cheers.